Hi Virgo. So, like I've explained many times, I will do so one more time. The videos have been off for a couple months and I've been having some very interesting / bad dreams. I have been very stressed. Didn't really understand why. But as soon as I got to Denmark and the borders closed and I realized that I got in by the skin of my teeth, it all made sense. Apologies for being a Gemini that's not quite in touch with their feelings and somehow doesn't really know what's wrong when something is wrong. Thank God not much is wrong often. So Virgo, in your house of relationships, a cycle is coming to an end and a new one is beginning. And somehow it's all tied up with your intelligence. Do people think you're stupid, or do you feel like you can't talk to people? Do you have higher pursuits that your significant other would rather you not pursue? Do you have interests that your current significant other or your former did not appreciate? Do you feel like you can talk to the people around you? Your cycle of intimacy that ends can only be rebuilt now if you take a completely new look at it. I mean, you've got to be a completely different person if you want it to work out with someone from the past. If not, the new cycle brings new love. Perhaps you've already been thinking for the past 2 weeks, I deserve more than this. I deserve someone who believes in me. I deserve someone who supports me regardless of what they think of my pursuits or my decisions. You may find that you're surprising yourself by how much you're willing to admit that you need other people and how vehemently you're able to embody that sentiment of, no, I need more. And if your current or former partner can give you more, fantastic. And if they can't, I get this uncanny sense that you feel like people don't believe in you enough. Not that they don't trust you, they don't believe in you enough. And you need that. Deeply, desperately, you need that. And where is it that they need to believe in you? Well, I think you have some work stuff coming up that you would really like some support on. Either you want to go back to school or you want to try your hand at something different. You want to take some intellectual risks. But if your partner isn't smart enough to follow you there, is that their fault or is it your fault? If your partner isn't smart enough to see why it's a good idea, is it their fault for not having the vision, or is it your fault for being with someone who has a lack of vision? Obviously, it's yours. And so what do we do in that case? When we are surrounded by those that we don't necessarily trust with our innermost feelings anymore? How do we seek approval and affirmation from that which no longer lights us up? A cycle ends and a new cycle begins. And somewhere between the ending and the new, there is a very fiery person, dominant, perhaps even older, who just, I don't know, if your world is crashing down around you, how are you not even paying attention? Oh wait, you're a Virgo. That's like your superpower, right? All right. So, Three of Swords, Queen of Wands. Venus was just in Aries. Now it's moved into Taurus. You have a urge. You know, like that urge in French, they say staring into the void, where you think, what if I just ran my car off the road? What if I just jumped out this window? What if I just... What if? You have a chance to... You have a chance to do something risky, actually. Not much risk comes up in your readings, but for some reason, and emotionally, well, we know why, not some reason. Jupiter, Pluto, the T. super fiery now. Oh, you're so done with this old cycle. You're so done. Oh, you're so done. Earlier today, I texted someone, I love being right. It's the ending of something and the beginning of something. And it can be with the same person as long as you keep your ego out of it. But like most people, that's very difficult for you to do. And so it's the ending of something and the beginning of something much more fiery, much more centered on self. This is someone who has Leo placements. The turnaround is impressive. Don't leave one job until you found another, right, Virgo? I'm just messing with you. We don't joke anymore? We don't joke anymore? We don't laugh anymore? Now everyone's gonna say, oh, look at Umbra flirting with the Virgos again. For the record, I always flirt with the Virgos. That's nothing new. 10 of Swords, 10 of Cups. Doesn't get more obvious than that. And then 6 of Pentacles, 6 of Cups. Oof. The ending of something that was almost felt like charity, and the beginning of something that really feels like love, or the coming back together of a relationship with someone with which you have children. The Wheel of Fortune, the Chariot, and the 7 of Swords. So along with the good luck in love, you also have some good financial luck coming in. You may have already received quite a lot of money this month out of nowhere where you're like, gee, thanks. But now your life path becomes much more obvious. Much more obvious. And how much money you stand to gain becomes more obvious, and what you need to do to kind of step it up also becomes obvious. Like going back to school, like just bettering yourself, just doing things that, you know, put you mentally in that position where you can ask for more, want more, demand more, do more. And then there is that 7 of Swords. Virgo, if you're dealing with a Cancer, they might be lying to you. Or if you've decided that it's the best thing in the world for you to lie to them because you don't really care anymore and they're just being clingy and weird, that's fine too. I mean, it's not fine, but it could also be that. Irrespective of how that goes, there's a leaving involved. There's a, you know what? I don't want to do this with you like this anymore. I don't. Why? Because I deserve more. Because what I deserve should be much deeper, much more meaningful, much more valuable. And a lot more what I want. That's the other thing. This irony is that a lot of times Virgos end up in situations with people they don't even really want. That's what bugs me, because everybody wants you. So why do you always end up with people who don't want you? And the Virgos will come back and say, no, everybody pretends to want us, but they don't really want us. They like the idea of us. They like the idea of someone charming and smart and clean and savvy and delicate and beautiful and luminous and a healer and shy and quiet inside and, you know, a bit fragile. Everybody is intrigued. You know, everybody wants to move towards that until they get a sense of how one maintains such a delicate and fragile exterior while being so strong inside. And when people see the balancing act that needs to be done to be this way, to be a Virgo, men oftentimes they will exhaust themselves trying to keep up or compete in some way, or judge you, you know, because it's easier than having to understand you, or just, like in the case of a Cancer, you know, not care. It doesn't matter why you are this way, or it doesn't matter what you need, or it doesn't matter how you feel, or it doesn't matter what you want to do next. I want this, I want this, I want this, I want that, I want this. And you're kind of looking at the situation and going, wow. You're looking at the situation going, you know, you want a lot of things. Are you going to give anything back? Or that's why I'm saying the cycle ends, a new cycle begins, and the cycle begins with a lot of giving. It's someone who's giving a lot to you, someone who's like just is clicking with you. You can find this same click with someone that you've known for a while. You can find this click with someone that you just meet. What will determine if it becomes the 10 of Cups scenario or not is how much you're willing to deal with and how much understanding you're willing to put forward. Because when you want to, you can be very understanding. And when you don't want to and when you don't feel like it, there's no wriggle room. So it really will depend on your mood. And that's scary because your moods are mutable. So if you would like to if you can keep your mood in check and keep this sadness, this isolation, this, this despair, this loneliness away, or if you can channel it perhaps into work, which is probably not the healthiest advice to give a Virgo, but if you really are feeling that way, if you're able to channel it into work, you have a lot of money coming your way, but you have that anyway. The quicker you unstuck, the quicker you let go of the perceived sadness, the faster the money can come in. And then, of course, naturally, with this cycle ending, creating a vacuum, creating a new cycle, some sort of love relationship, attraction, even a deep friendship comes and takes its place there, and you start to build. Again, be careful of those who would deceive you, because there are quite a few of them who will tell you whatever you need to hear, but be careful, because I think they don't mean it. I think you've tried long enough to see if they did, and all that you've gotten back from it is like take, and how long do we want to stay here? And why would you when you could have all of this? All of this? All of this. That's a lot. Looks like a new cycle to me. Good stuff. Let's look at these cards, huh? Hi Virgo, welcome to the second part of your reading. I have to say, most of the people I've spoken to today are Virgos. Maybe that's just because I have a preponderance of you in my life, or it's because of everything that is going on, and so the Geminis and Virgos are out there doing the fact-checking, the information-seeking, the liaisoning with each other, trying to figure out exactly what it is that's going on. So, here we are. Yet another Virgo-Gemini exchange. Let's do it. Three of Swords, Queen of Wands. Just because you want something to be a certain way doesn't mean it is. There is a change. Like I said, in your house of relationships, there is a cycle, especially if you're a Virgo rising, that is ending and a new one that is beginning. Ending, beginning. What has happened previously, as callous as this may sound, doesn't matter. What matters now, you guessed it, is what you do from here. So, one cycle ends. You may not like the way it ends, or you love the way it ends because it's with the same person and your cycle is actually a reinvention of your relationship. And so I am by no means saying that this means that you don't want to be with whoever you are with and happy with. It's not that. But if you're with someone and you're happy with them, then your relationship will undergo a deepening, an evolution, not necessarily negative at all. So the ending of the cycle doesn't have to be anything but an evolution into the next cycle. So don't freak. Don't worry about that. If you're I saw in some of the comments on Instagram for the part 1 of the video, what if you're in a loving relationship? Perfect. That relationship deepens and you're able to open up to that person about perhaps some of the wounds you've been carrying around for quite some time, perhaps even from your mom, your childhood, your caregiver. And then the Leo card, The Strength card, the Eight of Swords, Ace of Pentacles. Okay. So what are we looking at? Your ego is part of the reason that you've been stuck. Out of the 8 swords surrounding you, I'd say at least 7 of them are your own doing, as in it's your thinking. But a lot of that has been tied up with money. Now, money starts, boom, coming in again. You feel that, rush. Then 6 of Pentacles, you feel that change coming, where you're no longer the one receiving, but can start being the one that gives. Boom, the Sun, even more prosperity. Very synchronistic here. Even more prosperity coming in. Beautiful. And then, like I said, this new cycle in love begins. And what's it about? It's quite beautiful, actually. If, like I said, if you're in a relationship, a healthy relationship, and you have children, this can be the deepening of your bond with your kids, or you and your partner deepening your bond with your kids. This could also be because school is closed. You get to be around your kids a lot more. If you are single, if you are getting out of a toxic relationship, this is the beginning very quickly of a new one. And don't let how quickly it starts deceive you. It's very serious. It's based in a commonality that you haven't felt in a long time. It increases your luck, if you can't tell already. So then there's this windfall again, money, love, and it's directed specifically at something you really want to do. It's not about what you should do, which is what so much of your life can be about. It's about what you really, really want. If you're dealing with an Aquarius or a Cancer, as weird as it sounds, because they're not very similar at all, you're kind of done with them. And I'm not even sure, it could also be a Libra. I'm not even sure why, except for the astrological cycle, but you always have a reason. I know you have a reason, but it's rooted in this, like, you're emotionally manipulating me, you're emotionally blackmailing me, you're trying to get under my skin on purpose in a way that's very uncomfortable, and the only reason you're doing it is to get your way. That thinking, that behavior is very averse to Virgos. You guys do not like people using your mind against you, people using your limited emotions against you. It's very unfair. When you sense that intention from someone, you're highly intuitive, so you do sense people's intentionality. That's when you're like, okay, you know what? This is deceptive, this is wrong, this is toxic, and you walk. Now, ironically, by the time you get around to doing that, most people feel like they have so much invested in you that they're going crazy that you want to walk. What do you mean you want to walk? I just planted all these seeds with you. Maybe you even have babies with this person. Babies, whatever. And they're looking at you going, excuse me, you put a lot of seeds in the ground. What are you planning on doing with all that? And they're making you seem like you're the liar. Why? Because you need rest. Why? Because you can't play the game anymore. Why? Because you don't want the drama anymore. Why? Because for whatever reason, you don't want to try. When a Virgo stops trying, everybody gets upset. When a Virgo is trying, nobody seems to notice. What new hell is this? Oh, you know what it is. Let them be upset. Let them be however they want to be. Let them feel like you're treating them like an option. You're not. You've been deliberating this for quite some time. But the sadness, the prevailing moodiness, the argumentative, behavior, it's just like, you're like, you know what? I'm stepping back. And you know what happens when Virgo steps back? Everybody steps forward. And they start to push and pressure and demand. So take your rest where you can. Be vigilant about your rest. Do not give in to the pressure of needing to give people answers. I'm telling you now, you don't need to give anyone answers for the next 30 days. You don't. You don't owe anybody anything as long as you've made yourself clear in the most honest way possible about what you can take and what you can't take, what you want and what you don't want. Because there's a huge difference between how much you can handle and what you want. Most times Virgos just expect people expect Virgos just to be able to handle everything. And you're looking around after a really long time and going, yeah, I can handle it. I know that. I'm capable. I can handle it. But I don't want to. Why? Just because I can carry this load on my back, that I'm strong enough to carry it, that my back is strong enough, why does it mean I have to? Can't I just be strong and unbothered? Can't I be strong without the baggage? Do I have to prove to you by carrying all of this what I am, who I am? You don't feel like proving yourself anymore. You don't feel like carrying burdens just to make other people's lives easier. You don't feel like carrying burdens just so other people will look at you and go, wow, you really can handle a lot. By now, Virgo, if they don't know you can handle a lot, who cares about them? This is your energy. This is what I'm picking up for you. And we're going straight into the extended with this. Love you. Stay safe. Wash your hands.